everybody, my name is Petrilli here with my friends from Guitarcenter with the Fender 75th Anniversary Vintera Road Worn 1951 Telecaster. When I think about the Tele, I think about two words. I think iconic, and I think of versatility. This guitar is an iconic instrument through many different genres of music. You think rock, you think Joe Strummer, you think Jimmy Page, Keith Richards. You go to country, you think Waylon Jennings. You go to blues, Muddy Waters and Susan Tedeschi. This is an iconic instrument, an iconic guitar that has helped pave the way for all of these different kinds of sounds in popular music. It is a mainstay, it is a workhorse, it is simplicity at its finest. I bought my first Tele, gosh, maybe about 15 years ago, and I was playing in a country band at the time, and I'm like, I'm a musician, I'm a guitar player, I don't have a Tele, I need to get a Tele. And it sounds great, the country stuff. And then as I started to play it more and started to do my due diligence as a player and as a musician, as a student of music, I look back to some of my favorite records. I'm like, oh wow, this person played a Tele on that album that I love. Oh, wow, this person played a Tele on an album that I absolutely love. And I started to learn how incredibly versatile this guitar is in so many different genres, which helped inspire me in my playing that this isn't just a country guitar. It's a guitar that acts as a blank canvas in the most beautiful way. You can put it in a scenario and it will deliver. You needed to get crunchy and big. It's gonna do the rock thing. You needed to get the cool country twang. It can do that. You want it to sound beautifully luscious and jazzy. It can do that. You want it to do the growl and blues. It can do that too. It's a mainstay for me in my playing and in the studio when I'm playing live because it is so well versed in so many different languages of music. So let's first have a look at the pickups. Let's see what's going on with this guitar, and let's start to dive deep here. So what we have here are the pure vintage 51 Tele pickups that we have in both the neck and the bridge position. I love all three positions. They all have their own unique sound, but if I had to pick one, I love to use both. I think it sounds really good. You can get nice, good, luscious tones, a good full sound out of your Tele, but it also has a nice growl and grit when you need it to, and it's incredibly, again, just a very versatile guitar. As far as the amp that I'm using today, I'm using a Deluxe Reverb amp from Fender. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the middle position here. So I've got that engaged. As far as the settings go, we have the master volume and the master tone. I have both of those up at 10. So with this first demo here, I'm gonna go ahead and play some nice big chunky chords so we can see how beautiful all of the notes in a chord will bloom. We're looking for this like beautiful quintessential Tele sustain here. I'm gonna use just a touch of delay with my Strymon El Capistan delay. So when we think of vintage Teles, there are a couple things that we have in mind. One of them is the baseball bat neck. And this one certainly has it. It's got the 51 U-shaped neck. So this has the higher shoulders, right? And it's definitely a chunky neck with the Road Worn Nitro that they have sprayed on the back of this maple neck. even though the neck is large, it feels really comfortable. I'm someone who doesn't have the biggest hands, but playing these chords, like in this cowboy chord position, feels really comfortable. You feel like you have control of the instrument. It feels very natural and intuitive, and that's something with a neck that I hold to be very important. If you're not comfortable with the neck, you're not going to pick up a guitar. But this neck, it reminds us of the vintage era with the big maple necks. And the sound obviously is very reminiscent of what you would expect from like a vintage sounding Telecaster. This is the Nitro cellulose spray. So this is a spray that is very common in vintage instruments, the 50s and 60s. We find that here on this Telecaster. It is not only on this ash body, but it is also on the maple neck as well. And if you look really closely with this Nitro finish, right, it's nice and thin, and it allows us to see the beautiful checking. It's a stunning, stunning touch. So what we'll do here, we're gonna stay in the middle position. I'm gonna give it just a little bit of crunch with my Analog Man Prince of Tone Overdrive, and let's see what we get. So when we engage a bit of overdrive and put that into the mix, we start to hear that bit of Tele growl, right? We got to remember that this was a mainstay in a lot of early rock and roll. We think of Jimmy Page and Keith Richards. They often played one of these in a rock setting. Because this guitar is so versatile, right? It can go ahead, we can push the envelope and get it to have those kind of sounds, right? We can get it out of this guitar. For me, I like to use that middle position because again, we are using both pickups simultaneously. So we get the best out of both worlds in using the best of what these tones in these pickups have to offer. So now we are in the neck position. This position to me, when I use this either in a session or on stage or I'm jamming at home, what's great about this is you can get that beautiful twang, but if you wanted to kind of dial it back and let the sustain really ring through, let these chords really ring through, this is a great position for that as well. So I'm gonna do a quick little sound bite so you can get an idea where I'm just gonna go totally clean with just a touch of trem and a touch of phase. So I am using my Analog Man Tremolo TR2 here, and then I am also using my MXR Phase 90 as a phaser, and again, the Strymon El Capistan for a touch of delay. We hear that beautiful chiminess, right? And that twang that we would expect from a Telecaster. I'm someone who really, really loves the sustain of a Tele. It's got that beautiful high end, which I love, and I love the way it sits. We can get some really beautiful, full sounding chords that can just sustain for days, but we could also get a really nice twangy like choppiness in the coolest ways, and it covers all of those bases, and that's why like a Tele is just a mainstay. Another thing when I think of iconic vintage Teles and the Tele sound, it's the bridge, particularly with these brass barrel saddles that we have here. I have these installed in two of my Teles that I have back home, and that is definitely one of the parts of a quintessential Tele tone is having that bridge and having those two strings, right, work together. It really helps you get that twang that you'd expect from a Tele. So we're gonna stay in the neck position here, and I'm just gonna go clean. I am gonna put just a touch of delay. So let's see what we get. So to sum up the neck position, to me, it's simply beautiful. It's what you'd expect from an awesome Telecaster. It's got the mix of highs and mids, but can get a nice growl and a beautiful roundedness in your open chords, but also has a nice bite as you continue up the fretboard when you're playing different versions of chords, and really great sounding pickup, something that you would expect from a Tele that tips the hat to vintage Telecasters. So now we have arrived to the bridge. It's got a lot of nice bite, all of those things that we talked about, right? The crystally sounding twang and some beautiful mids, right? And that growl. I like to think with the bridge that all of this is amplified and allows these to really shine. All of those things, we put an exclamation point behind them, and that's what I hear when I engage the bridge position on a Telecaster. Oftentimes, if I am playing slide and a Telecaster, I like to engage the bridge position. So what I'm gonna do here is, again, just gonna have a touch of delay, and we're gonna see what we get. I couldn't help myself. I wanted to play a little bit of slide, just again, to kind of tip the hat to some of my favorite country players. It's got that bite that you would expect. It cuts and mix really well, which is something that's really important if you're playing with a band. You want to make sure when you engage a pickup and you're ready to go that it's going to cut through that mix. I didn't use any effects except just a touch of delay there. So you can imagine if you were to put in, you know, like an overdrive and see how much more crunch you can get out of a Tele in that bridge position. So really cool stuff. Again, goes back to that versatility that you can be in all of these different positions and still get beautiful, iconic tones out of one guitar. what I'm gonna do next, I'm in the bridge position. Let's go ahead and rock out a little bit. Let's put a little dirt on the guitar. Why not? We're all here. So I am going to do a touch of the Analog Man Prince of Tone Overdrive, touch of delay, and let's see what we get. It truly has its own unique sound, and a lot of times I don't like to muffle that with a ton of effects. Now, granted, there are times when, you know, a tremolo is really gonna, you know, hit it home in a certain song, or you want that bit of phase to give the song its bit of cool, like, liquidy rhythm and movement. And then, of course, you know, we go and we use those pedals. But this guitar on its own, straight plugged into an amp, is just, to me, is just so iconic and historic and just beautiful. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we play guitar. Guitars like this that sound just absolutely awesome and inspire you to play and wants you to pick it up and play it. And surely this guitar's got some really cool vintage mojo that I absolutely appreciate. So when I had my first look at the guitar, opened the case, it's obviously got the iconic, you know, Butterscotch and black pickguard. And, you know, looking at it and playing it over the last few days, it's no wonder why this guitar is so popular and has been around for 75 years. It really can do everything. And I know for me, it's an inspiring guitar for sure. And it's surprising because it has, you know, some specs that at first I would be a little bit nervous about, but as you get to know the instrument and play it, you're like, oh yeah, this is inspiring. I get why back in '51 how people picked up this instrument and go, yeah, this is a fun instrument to play and it sounds great. And again, it's just very intuitive, and each of the different pickup positions, they all sound a little bit different. And I am all about a guitar that is going to inspire you to play and is going to get you excited about playing music. And this is certainly one that does. If you want to learn more about the Fender 75th Anniversary Vintera Road Worn 1951 Telecaster, you can go to guitarcenter.com, contact one of their expert gear advisors, or go play one yourself at your local GC.